by definition, visceral means it's cutting deeply into emotional provocation. It's intentionally provocative. And he's doing it for a reason because that's going to land. We're going to talk a little bit about dopamine in a minute, but this is sort of a tactic that is now highly widely deployed, and it's designed to cut through and really agitate people and get them emotionally stirred up. So this is choosing language that is specifically trying to drive the biggest emotional interaction with the story. So there's this intention to really stoke deep emotions here. Oh, we're not going to listen to the thing. And the visceral messaging that I see quite frequently, especially in the UK, rape gangs is one. Just even using the word rape and then adding the word gang to it is a very powerful, visceral, very deep cutting kind of language. Eating dogs and cats, pedophiles, vermin, regular use of profanity, heavy use of tropes, unapologetically, super provocative, the words that cut through, the words that make people react, words that are forbidden. This is intentionally chosen, and this is literally what he says is part of their strategy. There's also this documentary. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but I like this documentary, Bad Influence. It was like three episodes, I think. And what was interesting was these were a bunch of kid influencers who just did a lot of social stuff. There wasn't anything particularly wrong about what they were doing. It was just sort of cheeky interaction and cross promotion of them doing, silly things. What was interesting though is they started as this thing evolved. They talk about how the main influence character was a teenage girl. I think her name was Piper, if I remember. But the point was as they evolved their presence in order for her to retain her audience and grow it, she became more provocative. And they said she even started doing less clothing over time, to where she was like wearing like bikinis, I think, at 16 years old just to retain audience. So this whole idea of doing like a lot more shock and a lot more uh, um, if you will, provocative things to retain audience. One of the reasons why I think, and one of the best books that's out there right now is this Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke, who's a Stanford neuroscientist, psychiatrist. She also has a video that we have partially linked on our YouTube page, which I highly recommend. And she talks about how when we take a hit of dopamine, we need a resting period afterwards to reset the dopamine mechanism. And if we don't, then if we continually stimulate the dopamine, for example, in the doom scrolling on X or on Instagram, then we need higher levels of the same stimulus to get the same level of dopamine. So it is in her words like an addiction. And the idea here is that the visceral thing has to happen in order to retain the audience. Um, in order to retain the audience, like they have to keep getting more and more and more provocative to get the same level of dopamine hit over time.